Hi everybody, so today I am making some fire cider, and to those of you that don't know what fire cider is, it is a lovely tonic that is used to help boost your immune system. And lately around here we've had some sniffly noses. And so I figured that today is the perfect day. I have all my ingredients fresh and ready to go, so I figure I might as well get going and make a couple batches of fire cider here. So I'll tell you more about fire cider in a minute. First, I want to show you what I put in my fire cider. So, like I said, fire cider is a tonic that is jam-packed full of nutrients from lots of really yummy, good for you foods, herbs, roots, and vegetables that are high in immune boosting properties. So in my fire cider, I put in an organic onion. This is kind of on the medium to smallish side. I have fresh ginger root. I have horseradish root. That's also fresh. And then I put in, this is garlic from our garden, the onion was from our garden, and the jalapenos are from our garden. So we also have, look at this beauty, this is fresh turmeric root. Last time I didn't have fresh turmeric, so I had to use the dried herb, which you can do, but I really like to use the fresh ingredients when I can get them. And then this is a yummy beet. I'm not a big fan of beets, but beets are really good for helping to cleanse the blood and to purify the blood. So beets are going in. I already have in my jar here, I cut up an orange and I cut up a lemon, and I put half of the lemon in this jar and half of the orange in this jar, and I already got this jar ready to go, so you could kind of see what it looks like once it's all done. And then I also have another lemon that I'm putting in. I split between the two jars, and I have here some fresh rosemary. That's a really good herb for antibacterial and antiviral properties. I've got my yummy jalapenos from the garden. I've got some cinnamon stick. That's also known for its properties with antiviral and antifungal, antibiotic, antibacterial, excuse me. And then we have some cayenne pepper. Unfortunately, I don't have cayennes growing in the garden, nor did I try to buy any, but the powder does just fine. I don't like to put too much powder or powdered herbs in, just because then it kind of gets real cloudy and a little bit gritty. But you can use them. Like I said, I used the turmeric, the dried turmeric last year when I made this, and it was just fine. But if you can get the fresh herbs, I highly recommend doing that, as well as trying your best to buy organic or growing it yourself. Again, this is a tonic, excuse me, this is a tonic that you're going to be drinking to help to boost your immune system. So if your plant matter, your herbs, if they have residual pesticides or herbicides or poison, toxins on them, they're not probably going to do your body the best. That's my opinion. I know some people don't care. Organic, conventional, it doesn't matter as much to them, but to me it does. And so I just recommend buying or using your produce that is toxin free. And then so what you do is you chop everything up. I like to use my, see this little, the small side of my cheese grater. The big side works for some things, but I really like the small side when I'm doing the garlic and my roots, because then I can get really nice small little pieces that the more, I feel like the more pieces you have, the more is going to get extracted from them once you put them in the jar and the cider that goes over them. And then you just chop up your veggies. Super easy. If you just have your ingredients available, it doesn't take very long at all to just chop them up, throw them in the jar, and then you use apple cider vinegar. I prefer the raw because it has, probably can't see it now, but it's kind of has, it's raw, so it has the cloudy microbes in it. And that is what's going to help once you put your jar together. That's what's going to help to sort of ferment this. Because it's apple cider vinegar, it's not going to be a true ferment. But because it's raw, it is going to ferment some. And what you do is you put everything in your jar. You go ahead and fill it with your cider vinegar, and I like to add a splash of wine, red wine. It has antioxidant properties, which are again going to help boost your immune system when you're under the weather. And you're going to put your lid on it. You're going to shake it up and turn it over, kind of let everything mix. And then you're going to stick it in your pantry or your cupboard, and you're going to let it steep. You're going to let it sit there for about 3 to 6 weeks. You don't necessarily have to turn it every day, but every few days go in there, shake your jar, turn it over, mix everything up, and you just let it sit. Once your 3 to 6 weeks is up, you're going to strain out all of these veggies. If you compost, that's a good thing you can do with them if you want to still utilize them, because you can still eat them. You can throw them into like a veggie stir fry, which would probably be really yummy. I wouldn't put them in a smoothie, but definitely if you want to utilize what's in there, you can. Otherwise, feed them to your chickens, compost it, give it back to the earth in one way, form or another. And then you have what's left is this beautiful tonic elixir that is jam-packed full of vitamins and minerals and immune boosting properties that you're going to take like a shot of that, and it is going to be really strong and really potent, and you're going to be going, whoa, why did I do that? Might clear your sinuses pretty well, especially with that horseradish in there, but it's going to help you. It's going to kind of kickstart your immune system, and you'll probably feel a warming sensation after you drink some, and it's just really going to benefit your body, especially now that we're getting into cold and flu season. Excuse me. My kids have been having sniffly noses, and so this is definitely the time to get this going. Excuse me, I have a tickly throat now from talking. But after you have strained your fire cider and you discarded your veggies, you've got this yummy tonic. And what some people like to do is you can just do it straight, or I like to mix a little bit of raw honey in this, and that is totally going to depend on your taste. Some people like a lot of honey in it to kind of make it smoother, easier to go down. Personally, I don't like things too sweet, so I add a little bit of honey. One, if you're using raw honey, that also is going to have some health benefits that are going to help you fight colds and flus and boost your immune system. but also just a combination of the fire cider tonic with the raw honey makes it a little bit sweet, a little bit spicy, kind of tart, and it just kind of makes it a little smoother to go down. I will be one to say that this is a very strong tasting elixir. Some people taste it and think, oh man, that's awful. I personally don't think that it tastes awful. It is definitely strong and very potent. So you only really need like a little bit. I take about maybe an ounce, sometimes 2 ounces. If I'm really feel like I'm coming down with something and trying to fight off a bug, I will take 1 to 2 ounces several times a day just to help my body to really ramp up my immune system and to fight off those germies that are trying to get me down. Otherwise, you can just kind of take some of it as a preventative, maybe an ounce a day during cold and flu season. If people in your house are sick, or coworkers, or people that you work with around throughout the day, then you might want to up your dosage. But yeah, it's really super easy to make. The point is that if you are already in cold and flu season, you need to make it as soon as possible, because it takes that 3 to 6 weeks to just sit so that all of those really good properties from your veggies and your herbs and your roots go into the tonic. They're extracted during the steeping process. So this is a good one to make the end of summer before it really hits that cold flu season in the middle of fall and winter. So definitely, I highly recommend that you get your ingredients together and you make yourself a batch. I'm making a couple batches just because I really want it to last. Usually, because it's a vinegar base, this is going to last you for a long time. Ideally, you're drinking it and using it, so you don't. Ideally, you're drinking it and you're using it, and so it's going to get used up before it ever really goes bad. But I do have some fire cider left in my cupboard from last year, and I probably might take some because we are starting to get sniffly around here. So I also highly recommend taking vitamins, taking echinacea, drinking herbal teas this time of year, because it's really going to help your body to recover, and it's going to feed it and nourish it in ways that maybe your soda or your coffee or those kinds of things aren't going to help you. Also, drink lots of water. People often just don't even think about how important water is. So anyway, this is my introduction to you on fire cider, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get yourself some ingredients and get yourself some fire cider made. Let me know how it turns out. Bye.